Simplicity is not the goal. It is the byproduct of a good idea and modest expectations. Paul Rand. Well, my friends, we have, I guess, with our modest expectations and our good ideas, we have the byproduct of simple charts that we find as we practice trade them again and again and again. They work very well. Now, let's jump into these charts and see what there is to see. We see stocks down big for the day. That is both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ down 3.77%, SPY down 2.90%. We can see that we're still at a minus 15. That means all three of our charts are down. Weekly, 2-day, and of course the half day. We had a great short trade earlier, netted us twice what our risk was there, and that was beautiful, and things just continue to move on down. Now, for those who say, hey, things aren't looking so good, what about the market? When do you think this thing is going to really start hammering down based upon, all the terrible things going on in the world? Well, let me take you back to the beginning of the year. Would you like to know how much the S&P alone is down? It's down 14.45%. So that again represents a broad sweep of 500 of the biggest companies in the world right there, traded on our stock exchanges. That's a big hit. 14.45% down this year. Big downer. We can see when we crossed over heading down. That was right at the beginning of the year. The signal was in, and it has gone down, 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 down. 3 weeks of up movement, and then rolling back over, heading down just for the day today, 2.90%. So big negative territory. Let's go from the S&P to the NASDAQ 100. It is also a minus 15 with our success multiplier formula. And would you like to know, if we go out to the weekly, how much it has gone down for the year? Well, we track back again to the week beginning January the 3rd, and it has gone down, this is a shocker, 21.23%. That's 21.23%. Look how accurate that STC was for the rollover. Look how accurate it was for the last up move. Again, not a long up move, but up, down a little bit, peaked right there at the end of the year, and then rolled over and hammered down. Up for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then back over, hammering down. Down for the day, 3.77%. You can see when we originally crossed that 200 EMA on the half-day chart. Nice trade there. Of course, we have to go back to the beginning of the year for the weekly vertical cross, the STC crossover going down. Now, let's move on from stocks. We'll go back to our half-day chart, and we will go to bonds. What do bonds show us? Well, as we look at bonds, we can see we're well below the 200 EMA. We are at a negative 14. That means the only thing going up is the half day. We can see that the 2-day is still in negative territory. Now it's putting in an up candle, which is nice. Maybe it's bottomed out. Still negative on the STC. We look at the weekly. Of course, the weekly not hitting the lower low. That was last week. Still a red down candle forming, up for the day, 1.01%. But we look at where things are, and of course, maybe they've bottomed, maybe they're heading up, but we're going to have a 2-day switch over, and of course, the weekly, and we're going to need to get above this 200 EMA. So what does this offer us potentially? Well, if it rolls back over and bonds start hammering down again, you're already up to negative 14. You can only go 1 point higher on the success multiplier formula, so it can get you back into a short position. TBF is what you need to practice. That is the inverse of TLT. So try that out. Now, Again, worth you practice trading to see how you like it, to see if you can actually make money when you have continual push downs. And again, what's nice about these pull-ups that you can have is if you're below the 200 EMA, it gives you an opportunity to, again, potentially get into an inverse fund for a practice trade. See how you like it. Fees are higher. It's revalued on a daily basis. So again, you got to be careful, but you can look back here and see how nicely it worked. 3.8% down in a short period of time. Using what? Using the STC crossing over, going down below the 200. Worked like a charm. Okay, let's move on from bonds and we'll go to gold. Gold up just a smidgen, 0.15%. Now, where is gold? Well, we can see that it is at zero. What does that mean? Well, it's not negative 15 because it'd have to be below the 200 EMA, right? It's just above it on the half-day chart. We look at where we are on the 2-day. 2-day is down. Look at where we are on the weekly. Weekly down this week. So what are we waiting for? Well, if we get a bounce off heading up, we're just a 1 at this point. We have the weight, particularly of that weekly heading down with that big down candle. And of course, we look at the 2-day. It's heading down too. So you're taking some danger. And again, if this pops up, we'll practice trade it. We'll watch it. You'll get to learn how it works and see what it can do for you. You can see this last run up in gold was a successful one, up 2.03%. We risk 1.02%, so a 2-for-1 risk to reward ratio, and that worked for us. So we'll watch, pay attention. Now don't forget though, we just had the weekly roll over, so what do we have working for us? We had the weekly working for us. That was going in our direction. 2-day, again, was going in our direction too. Do you see that? It wasn't at the very beginning, but it popped over for a few days and gave us the ability to grab that. That's why understanding what your success multiplier formula is lets you know the size of the waves that are working for and against you. That's where we are on gold. Lastly, we'll go to Bitcoin, and of course we're using XBTF. What is that? That is the Bitcoin future. The Van Eck, it's the lowest fees of the 3 Bitcoin future ETFs, so you can buy this on a regular exchange. You don't have to go to one of the various crypto exchanges. This is an ETF that's been approved, that's tradable. And of course, if you have an account online, you can practice trade it just like any other ETF or stock. So what do we see going on here? Well, just for kicks, I don't short Bitcoin. I haven't been doing that. I've looked at the options here. They are expensive to say the least. And when I say that, I'm talking about the difference between the bid and the ask. But nonetheless, I'm going to track the potential for down moves because I want to see if they'll work in the future. And I opened one up when we saw the STC rotate over going down on the half day. Now we look at an 11. What does that automatically tell us? That tells us 10 is of course the weekly. That's heading down. And the 1 to make up 11 is the half day. Tells us the 2-day. New information. 2-day has now crossed over going down. So guess what that means? We're going to update this, and this is how easy it is to do. We're now at a 15. Now we were already in that trade. It makes us feel even more confident to stay in it. So that is beautiful. That just happened. So we shall update that. Now we know that all 3 of our charts are heading down. What do we hope to gain? 9.42% in a down move. So that's where we are as far as Bitcoin goes. So appreciate you being with us today. We've covered our big charts. Hope you guys are getting a lot out of the new charting techniques that we have added in here, using the 200 EMA to help us make decisions, whether to go short or long, using the success multiplier to help us see very quickly where we are on the waves, both the smallest, the half day, the intermediate, the 2-day, and the big kahuna, the weekly chart, helps us see that power that is dealing for us or against us. That's where we are, folks. Love to hear from you. Be sure to follow us there at TradingView. Some of you are writing to me asking me for information about how do you get the STC that we're using, how do you get the ATR. That is in your show notes. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. You'll see at the very top of the show notes that are included, you will have that information plus a link to my page at TradingView. So that stuff is there for you. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. Take care. Good night.